Hey, Tony Gas is here popping in. Now listen to me. I want to talk to you about men dating younger and dating older. Now, this right here, and I'm gonna have to separate these videos. So this one is men dating older women. Now, when I say older, I mean 10 years or more. So that 10 years or more is gonna put you in a different decade, most likely. So older, 10 years or more. Now, 3 years older, you pretty much about the same. 5 years older, you still pretty close. Now, once you get to like 7, 8, 9, now you separating a little more. But I'm speaking of 10 years or older. Now, this is a very hard thing for a lot of women to understand. And I'll be honest with you, if I was in the situation as a man, it would be hard for me to understand. And it would be hard for me to accept because it's hard for a lot of women to understand the mindset of a man and what a man is attracted to. And every woman that I've spoken to that's over 50 disagree with me when I tell them this. But what I want you to understand is if you're a woman over 50, you are not a man under 50. I am a man under 50. And I know men under 50. And I know every man that I've ever met. And I've met thousands of men. And being on football teams, being on basketball teams, being a professional, being around men. And I want you to know that I have never in my life, other than guys in the comments on YouTube, on Instagram, who are playing on an older woman, those are the only men that I have ever seen say they are genuinely attracted to a woman who is 10 years older or more. When I say genuinely attracted, I mean a real, pure, organic attraction. So some people will use drastic examples like, well, do you think Halle Berry could get a man that's 10 years younger than her? Jennifer Lopez? That's what you call exceptions to the rule because their body, their face, their skin, that's not going to be common across all women. You're not going to meet a woman, Jennifer Lopez's age, that has a body like her body with a face like her face. It may be five of them in the universe, maybe five of them, because if that was a real common thing, it would be all over. Like those women would be on magazines and everything. Yeah, there are women who are 10 years older than a man that are attractive to the man. But what the man is looking for with a woman 10 years older, he's looking for one or two things. One is a notch in his belt. He wants a notch in his belt to be able to say that he slept with a woman 10 years older than him. Two, he's looking for stability. A woman 10 years older than a man is typically going to be in a better financial situation than that younger man. She may have a pension. She may have a 401k. She may have a savings. She may have good credit. She may have a house, a car. So if you are a woman, and let's say you're over 40, you're over 50, and even women over 50, do you have a house? Do you have a car? Do you have a 700 or better credit score? Do you have either a savings, a pension, or a 401k. You may even have all three. So that proves my point. But now, if you are this woman, look at a woman who is 20 years younger than you, like some of the men that may be approaching you. Look at a woman who's 10 years younger than you, like some of the men who may be approaching you. Does she have everything you have? Some will, but a lot of them may still be renting. They still finding their way. They may have a 401k, but it ain't really talking about nothing because they're 35, they're 40 years old. Whereas if you 50, 55, 60, 65, you done put in more years, a lot more years of work. So you got more that has been deposited into those accounts. So a younger man, what he's going to do, he's going to realize that stability, and he's going to realize that you are at a disadvantage because the men your age, a lot of them are still immature. He knows that. So he knows he has to come in and act more mature than the men your age. He also knows that a lot of men your age are desiring a woman that's 10 to 30 years younger than him. So he knows that. So he comes and he has to play on like he wants a woman older than him because he wants a woman that is more mature. He also knows that you're stable, so he has to come and pretend to be stable and have his stuff together so that you don't see that this is just a play. And he knows that the men your age are a lot of times lazy, set in their ways. They don't want to travel. They don't want to get out of the house. They don't want to do too much. You know, the thing might not be standing up the way you want it to be. They might not have the energy you want them to have. And so here comes this young whippersnapper, and he gonna break your back. He gonna give you a good time. He gonna give you the time of your life, and you wanna live. You wanna live, you wanna have fun. You want somebody that's gonna engage you, entertain you, keep up with you, because your libido is higher than the men your age. You're more active than the men your age. This younger man knows that. So he's gonna come and he's gonna play to that. Now, you could say, I don't care. I'm going to use him just like he using me, and I'm not giving him a dime. If you're going to do it, that's the best way to go about it. But that's not realistic because you have a heart. So you're going to start to feel like, whoa, this is genuine love. Like, whoa, this is real. And I'm going to tell you how you're going to know that it's not real. Is if this man don't have a house, a car, a savings, paying for the dates, paying for the flights, paying for the hotels. If this man is not taking care of you, but then not asking you to have a joint account, not asking you how much money you got saved up, not asking you what's your credit score, not asking you for any money, that's the only way it could be genuine. But then even with that, a lot of times it's still not genuine because the man has an Oedipus complex. He has a mommy complex. So he really wants an older woman because he wants somebody to replace his mom. He essentially is looking for a mom that he can have sex with. And this is the truth that I have to tell y'all that y'all don't like to hear because you set in your ways and you want to believe the best in men, and you want to believe that you genuinely are attractive to this younger man, or that this is a pure and genuine connection, which yes, you could be attractive. Like you could be 50 years old and look 35, but you're still 50. So that means your body parts have been here 50 years. So they're still going to be different than body parts that's been on earth for 35 years. So when a man get down there and he get with you, it's still going to be a 15-year difference between a 50-year-old and a 35-year-old. The body going to be different. point blank period. Don't nobody body stay the same. I'm 39. My body way different than when I was 35, than when I was 30. So that's life. That's how it happens. But what you got to understand is, as you are aging as a woman, you want to age gracefully. So you got to be more diligent. You got to be more intentional, and you got to pay attention, because what's happening is so many women who they getting into their 50s, their late 40s, 50s, 60s, and they getting played. When you get played at that age, it's hard to bounce back from. Like if you get with one of these young whippersnappers and you just caught up and you just believe in this fairy tale, if it looked too good to be true, it is. Because even if you believe in God, God does things decent and in order. So if you're 50 years old, God not going to send you a 35-year-old man, because God is not the author of confusion, and God knows where a 35-year-old man's mind and heart is at. And he knows that no matter how good of a front he could put on for them first 10 dates, that this 35-year-old man is not ready for no 50-year-old woman. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, God knows that. God also knows the way he made a man and the way he made a man's wiring as far as it relates sexually. So although a man can be sexually attracted to a woman that's 10 years older or more, he is going to be more sexually attracted to a woman that's in his age range, that's his age, and for several different reasons. And it's just because as we age, we do change. Even if we can still look great, like they say, black don't crack, we can still look great, but we still look older. That doesn't mean that you look bad. That doesn't mean that you look atrocious or terrible. That don't mean that you look your age, but you still look older. So you could be 50 and look 40. But when you was 40, you looked at 30. So you still look older than you were when you was 40. And so the thing about it is it is possible for a man to be sexually attracted to an older woman. That is very easy. That's very possible. It's a lot of women who are older than men that the man look at a woman and say, man, that woman is pretty for an older woman. That woman is beautiful for an older woman. That's what he is saying. He may just say, that's a beautiful woman. But then when he find out she's older, he'll be like, that's a beautiful woman, although she's older. Although it's an older woman, she's beautiful. So that's what you got to realize and understand, that it's still a reality. And so you still have to be mindful, and you have to have boundaries, and you got to be very careful if you're a woman and you're going to deal with a younger man. You got to be very careful, because 9.9 out of 10 times it is a game. It is a game. And you have to ask yourself, okay, so if men your age desire a woman younger, then why would a man younger than you genuinely desire a woman older? If men who are 30 want a woman who is 20 or 25 or 27 at the most, then why would a man who is 30 genuinely want a woman who is 50? And this is what I want you to understand. You have to pay attention. You got to be careful, but you also have to get out and about and expose yourself to different communities, different groups, different organizations, different outings, so that you can meet a higher rate of men, so you can meet men within a 5-year age range who are mature and whole and ready, and they are dating in their age range. That's what you want to do. You don't want to just say, oh, Well, just only men 10 years younger than me approach me. Men my age don't approach me. You have to get out. You have to expose yourself more. You have to be in more communities, more groups, more outings, so that you can meet a higher rate of men. Because a lot of the men that you're meeting that's your age range, they already taken. They're in a relationship. They married. A lot of them gonna be married. They're gonna be or in a situationship. But the more you get out, the more exposed you are to different groups, communities, organizations, outings, traveling, the more men you're gonna meet. And one of the things that I've found is that women are crazy for love. See, men are not crazy for love. Like, one of the things that I notice with women is a woman will cut off her mom for a man. A woman will cut off her best friend for a man. A woman will neglect her child for a man. Like, when you listen to the stories of women, and even if you listen to your own story, if you're a woman watching this, women have done some very, very wild and crazy things for the love of a man. And so because of that, and because of that's how a woman being wired, just how a man is wired to be fruitful and replenish the earth, a woman is wired for relationship. She's wired for love. Even when we go all the way back to Eve, her sole purpose of creation was to be a helpmeet to Adam. So that wiring is still very real. It's still very true. A lot of women don't want to hear this, don't want to believe it. But when you're honest with yourself and you look around at the women around you, you're going to see that women are wired for love. Women are wired for connection. Women are wired for relationship. And that desire sometimes becomes desperation. And that desperation kills discernment. And so now when a woman is desperate for love, desperate for companionship, desperate for connection, she loses discernment. And now she cannot discern that the man she is entertaining is not really into her. He's into what she brings to the table. He's into the fantasy of her, the notch in the belt. So I could tell you, as a man, when I was out there in the world, I was dating around, one of the notches that every man wants in our belt is to finesse an older woman. And the reason why that notch is so important to grown boys and to everyday men is because we assume that if this woman is older, she has more game, she has more wisdom, she has more knowledge, she has more experience, she has more understanding. So if the man can come in and he can run game on her to trip her up, then he's really him. Like, he's really that guy. Because if he can go and get this woman that is 10, 20, 30 years older than him, and he can wrap her up with his talk game, he really start to feel like he has accomplished something, because she has done so much and seen so much, perceivably, ideally, what he would think. And so that's why it's a notch in the belt for so many men. But a lot of women who are 10 or more years older than a man don't realize that, don't know that, or won't believe it. Even when a man tells them, they want to come in the comments and argue with me about how young they look and how they look so good for their age, and how that these men really do want them and really do like them. And what about the man in France? And it's like, that's an Oedipus complex. That's a mommy complex. That's also an exception to the rule if it is authentic and organic and real. It also could be that woman seduced him and played on him and manipulated him because she knows she's going to be in power by being with this man of France or whatever people be bringing up. So you got to understand, when you read the Bible, you will see the seduction tactics of the women in the Bible. You will see how a woman can seduce a man, how a woman can connive a man, just like Samson and Delilah and the Jezebel spirit. you'll see even the influence and power that women have, even like Esther and Ruth, being able to position themselves around men and being able to win favor. So a woman is very influential. So just because a man is 10 or more years younger than a woman and he seems like he's head over heels, you still can't assume that that is authentic and genuine, because it could be the seduction tactics of the woman. So that's why it is a notch in a man's belt, because men know how seductive and manipulative a woman can be if she wants to be. So if he can go in and he can play her, then he has accomplished far greater in his grown boy mind, because he knows that there are women who got men wrapped around their finger and eating out of their hand because of their seduction and knowing how to use their body and knowing how to use their voice and knowing how to speak a man's love languages. Women know, some women know how to wrap a man up. And this is what men know and understand. So this is why a younger man will try to go and play on an older woman to prove to himself that he really has game. But now he knows if he can run game on an older woman, he assumes that he's going to be able to run game on women his age because they haven't been here as long. Now, what I found as a young man around between the ages of 19 and 21, I was dealing with women at 19, 20. I was dealing with women in their early 40s. It was a woman I was, flirting with, in the back seat with, hugging on, kissing on, playing around with. Never went all the way. My mom was like, son, why are you talking to her? Please do not talk to her. That I grew up with her. We the same age. My mama had me when she was 20 years old. So I was talking to this lady that was my mom age. And the lady was just having fun. And she was actually either married or in a long-term relationship, but had been being cheated on. So she didn't sleep with me. She didn't do nothing with me. And she knew my mama. So this crazy, she my mama same age, and she knew my mama, grew up playing with my mama and talking to my mama's son. And I ain't know that till my mama told him, till my mama told me. And then I stopped dealing with her. And also because she was in a relationship. And I'm like, man, you could lose your life like this, because the man that she with, he don't play. Like they done deleted people, him and his family. So, man, hey, let me get on up out of here. And so here this older woman is, who should know better. She put my life in risk because she come on to me. She entertaining me. She dealing with me. She know that could have got me deleted. And so this is what I'm trying to help you understand. But the only reason why I was talking to these women that was 15 to 20 years older than me was for a notch in the belt. Because a 40-year-old woman, no matter how good she look, her stomach and her booty and her body is not going to be as tight and as smooth as a 20-year-old woman. So no matter how good she look, so it's a thing of like, okay, she looks good for her age. But every woman who is 40 knows that her body is not where it was when she was 20. Every woman who is 60 knows that her body is not where it was when she was 40. So this is the truth of the matter that we have to be honest about. And the reason why I'm doing this video is to help women stop getting played by younger men, because you are chasing a thrill and you're chasing sex and you're chasing fantasy and you're believing your hype. You smelling your own pee, and you starting to think that you are her and that you are a bad bee, and you think that this younger man is really into you. And 9.9 out of 10 times, he is not really into you. He's into adding you to his resume, having you as a notch in his belt, and he's also into playing you. So as a player, And I'm going to tell you from a former player, this is what we will do with older women who we know got a stable job, got a savings, or got good credit. We will go in and we will treat that woman like a queen. We're doing things the men her age is not doing because they used to her, they done dealt with her, they not impressed with her, they looking for a younger woman who got, who got no stretch marks or less stretch marks or a tighter stomach or a lifted booty or perkier breast. This is the real that I'm giving you. If you sensitive, this not the page for you. If you say you want the truth, every single woman say, Tony, tell me the truth, tell me the truth. But then when I tell you the truth, you want to get in your feelings and get your feelings hurt and be in the comments arguing and doing all this here back and forth instead of just listening to the game that I'm trying to give you now. So the man will come in and he'll play on the woman. He'll get in, he'll take her on dates, arm in arm, kissing her in public. So the woman like, oh, this gotta be real. This gotta be real because he kissing me on dates. He holding my hand. We going out to the movie. We going go-kart riding. We doing all this. So the woman like Stella got her groove back. Like she feeling like, whoa, this amazing. But what that man trying to do, he trying to get close enough to where he could then run his play. And what he gonna do is he either gonna use this woman for somewhere to lay his head, for a car to drive, or he gonna make this woman fall in love and she gonna feel like she's investing in her husband. She gonna feel like she's investing in her future husband. So when he say, I gotta get my credit right, I gotta get my credit right, she gonna be like, oh, well, I add you to my credit cards and that'll boost your score. And then you can apply for your own cards. She add them to her cards. Or she get a car and she give it to him. And then, so now his score jumped from a 600 to a 700. Now he apply for American Express, Chase, all these Capital One. Now he got 3-4 credit cards. Now he good. Now he got a little money, but he still gonna stay there. It ain't enough. It ain't enough. Now they done been together a year and a half, 2 years. He done flaunted her, showed off, made it look real. Now he say, man, I want to open like a barbershop, or I want to open my AC business, or I want to open my shoe store, or what have you. She thinks she's investing in her husband. And so she was like, well, I ain't got a lot of money, but I do have something like on my 401k or what have you, my retirement account that I could cash out. And I want to see you be successful because I want to be able to sit down one day. And I also want to be able to, for us to travel. So if this going to help you get there, I'll cash out 30K so you could get your business started. So she fully trusting because he been eating peach cobbler. He been stroking. He been taking her out, flaunting her. He done made it look real. It's too good to be true, but she thinking, oh, this what God got for me. This what God got for me. This God finna send me this man that's 10, 15, 20 years younger. And she think that makes sense. She think that's how God work. God know men. God know the maturity level of men. God know what he done put in a man. God know how a man wired. God not finna do no craziness like that. Because he know he's setting that woman up for failure. God ain't finna do that, but that's what the devil gonna do. But the woman without discernment, a woman who ain't really talking to God like that, a woman who, like to party and get drunk and she just focus on having a good time, then she not gonna hear this message. So now she take, and because she trusting and she trusting this man, she want to trust him, she give him the 30K. She give him the 30K, he goes and he honestly gonna trick off 10 or 15K of it. That was part of the play. And he gonna trick that off, and then he gonna go to the club, to the strip club, and he gonna floss, flaunt, and ball for the women his age, the women he really want, the women he really want to sleep with. He gonna floss, flaunt, and ball for them. But then he coming home to his older woman, and she think he been out networking, marketing, meeting people. She think that he got to go out at night and meet with this guy because this guy gonna invest and this guy gonna be a big client. So she okaying him going to the strip club because he's a younger guy. She don't want to run away her young whippersnapper, so she okaying stuff. And then, or she playing tough and she saying, no, you can't do none of that. But he's still cheating while she think he at work. He's still dealing with his baby mama. He's still dealing with his ex-girlfriend. And he just getting in position. And there's some women, especially from O Block and different inner cities, that they'll run the play on the older woman with their man, with their younger man. They will say, yeah, go get close to her, get her social security number. We could steal her identity. Like, we could take everything in her account. And this what's being ran on women that's 10 or more years older than a man. This is the world that we live in. And so when I'm telling y'all this, I ain't trying to rain on your little parade. I ain't trying to hurt your feelings. I ain't trying to break you down. I ain't trying to, bust your bubble. I'm trying to educate you and let you know what you up against and tell you that, yes, you beautiful. Yes, you cute. Yes, you fine. Yes, you fit. Yes, you all of that. But that man that's 10 or more years younger than you do not really want you. He do not really want you. I'm here to tell you. And if he do really want you, he has mommy issues, because that is not the nature of a man. And that's why you keep seeing the men your age go after younger women. You have to think about this thing logically. You got to think about this thing logically. A man is already insecure about his sex game. A lot of times about the size of his third leg. So if he has been taught and it has been painted that the older a woman get, the more things she's had in her, the more intercourse she's had. So he's taught that the looser she is, that make her looser, that make her wider. So why would a man go and invite them problems on his life if that's what he's been taught? That's what he think. That's the teachings that's given to men. So a man not going to naturally be more attracted to a older woman who has what men call more mileage. That's like, the only time a man likes something older is when it's like a classic or a collectible. And that's essentially what he treating this woman like, as a collectible. And you get a collectible or a classic so you can sell it one day for a lot of money. So what he doing is he's selling this woman. He tricking her so that he could get her 401k, get her pension, get her savings, get her good credit. So this why, if you are an older woman and you want to date younger, you have to come and get you some guidelines and get you some boundaries. But you got to be very careful, because what you don't realize is you with this man, you right beside this man. So a credit card skimmer, the little scanners, soon as he get this close to you, he's skimming every one of your credit cards. So you'll be with this younger man and thinking y'all having a great time, and he just skimming, he's skimming every card you got. 3 months into the relationship, you getting hit for $500 here, $500 there, $200 here, $100 here, and you don't even notice it because you're in a good financial position. You don't even notice it, or you might see it the way they hitting you. They using a name. They swiping your card. They charging your card with a name. It'll say Walmart. It'll say a real actual company that they done just made a dupe of and listed it as that name. And now they charge you. So you thinking like, man, the bill was high from such and such this month. No, that was fraud. That was a scam. And that was from your credit card being stolen while you was sleeping or while you was in the shower, or just straight up skimmed, because you thinking about sex. You thinking about getting your back broke. You thinking about having a good time. You thinking about getting ate out by this younger man. You thinking you Stella. And so instead of using common sense, and instead of being realistic about the situation and the makeup of men, if the men your age are immature, how you think a younger man gonna be more mature than a man your age? They come from the same thing. They living in the same world. They doing the same thing. They got the same upbringing. They got the same mentality. Like, you have to really think about this logically and stop playing yourself. And the reason why I'm doing this video is because I am the one that's sitting on the phone with women who are snotting, crying, and 90% of their life savings have been taken by this man. 90%. Some of them, 100% of their savings. Some of these women have been sitting on money, and now 20K, 30K, 40K, 50K given to this man. So this is what I want you to understand and get this in your mind. And protect yourself and make sure, just like we tell a man, make sure you ain't thinking with your little head. As a woman, make sure you ain't thinking with that there. Make sure you're not thinking about just a feeling and a thrill and some fun, and that you're being real and honest with yourself. Now listen, I know this here hurt to hear this kind of truth, but that's what I'm here to do, because I'm trying to minimize the amount of women who done worked all their life and saved up all their money, and then now they getting taken for everything they worth because they literally think this man 20 years younger than them genuinely interested in them. 10, 15 years younger than them genuinely interested in them, or don't have mommy issues. You got to really do your due diligence. Take your time. It may take 9 months to a year. And then if you find out, okay, this man is truly an exception to the rule, because a man who got a big play he want to run, he'll stretch that play out for 36 months. He'll make that thing look real 36 months. Now, a psycho, he could go 5 years. And then he run his play. It just depends on how much you got to take. If you only got 20, 30K, a man ain't going to take more than 12 months. Now, if you got 100K plus, that man will stretch this play out 2 to 3 years till he get all the way in, get you all the way comfortable. You all the way to drop your guards. You done let him all the way in, and then he gonna run his play, and then he gone. And what you don't realize, what a lot of women don't realize, is when a man want to come up on some money from a woman, or some stability, or a place to lay his head, a man will easily give a woman 2 to 5 years of his life and not even care about it. And the reason why he will give her 2 to 5 years is because that entire 2 to 5 years, he's been sleeping with other women every week. So he feels like he's lost nothing. He's also a man that doesn't believe in marriage. He's also a man that doesn't believe in legacy, lineage, or generational wealth. So he is a lost soul. He's a broken soul. He's a broken spirit. And now he is out to get what he can get by using his Jezebel spirit inside of the male to seduce women, and he will go from woman to woman and rob these women, and he will rob multiple women at one time. And if you don't believe me, start to ask around, start to look around, start to study. But understand that if you believe in God, God gonna do things decent and in order. God is not the author of confusion. Use wisdom, use discretion. There's wisdom in a multitude of counsel. So listen to people who have nothing to gain from you and trying to give you the real, trying to give you the truth, and get out of your feelings, get out of your vagina, get out of your head, and get into the real world and listen to the instruction that's trying to prevent you from losing your life savings and losing your sanity at this age and stage of your life. Hey, this is Tony Gaskin. God bless you. We got some things coming up on September 12th. Meet up in Atlanta. You'll see it on TonyGaskinAcademy.com. Dinner and discussion. Now, this ain't no fancy dinner. We eating. And have some fajitas or something like that. Lemonade. And then September 9th. 7 p.m. we got a virtual conference. So it's a virtual conference. We just going through strategies, getting ready for the fourth quarter of the year, finish strong and roll into 2024 strong. That's on TonyGaskinAcademy.com as well. So get on over there. All the spaces are about gone in both of those that I just mentioned. So get on over there, grab your seat, and I'll see you soon. God bless you.